Greetings, fellow travelers. Welcome on in. This is the 190th level of the RPG Cave. I am one of your hosts, the level 199 human Dark Lord, Ryan Turford, and I am joined once again by the level 199 Elf Battle Alchemist, making his return, Dr. Garret. How's it going, Garret?
It's going good, man. I'm back. I landed here. I'm safely back in San Francisco. And I'm just still adjusting to the sleep schedule.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's probably going to take you at least a week to get back to normal.
Yeah. You know, it's like a 15-hour difference between China and here. And they're like ahead. It's interesting because I flew from Guangzhou to San Francisco. I left there like 11 p.m. local. And then I landed 8 p.m. local the same day. So I was actually going back in time.
That is how that works.
Flying through. Yes. You actually go through the faster speed of light and you just go back. And
yeah. Because like when I went to Japan for the first time, it was like that too, where like I had spent like 9 hours flying from place to place to place to place to then get to LA to then fly to Japan. But I still landed at a time before when I started doing all that stuff.
Yes.
Just barely, like maybe an hour before, because I had so many connecting flights to get to LA, but in the end,
it really sucks going from the East Coast all the way down.
Not necessarily anymore.
Not anymore.
It was back, 10 or 12 years ago, the last time I went to Japan. Because I had to go like 5 different like cities in the States to then fly to Japan.
Yeah.
But now they offer direct flights from Toronto to Tokyo.
Oh, direct flights from Toronto to Japan now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think the flight time in total is like 13 hours.
Okay, that's the same amount of time as from Guangzhou to San Francisco. So, I guess you just go through like the North Pole.
Yeah,
basically,
probably.
It's now officially warm enough. We have induced enough heating on the Earth so that Ryan can go to Japan directly from Toronto. So.
Exactly. Clearly, that's what's happening. Honestly, I don't know even if they even had direct flights. They honestly probably did with some airlines, but it's top of mind because I might be going back to Japan next year, so I might be looking at flights. So it's top of mind. So it's one of those things where that's why I was like, oh, there's a direct flight and it's cheaper than the ones with the connecting flights. So I'm like, yeah, maybe this actually works.
Well, I'm going to be going through really into detail of the minute and interesting things that I have observed in Japan, as well as the gaming stuff. Yeah. So hopefully that'll spark your interest. Maybe a little bit different than the last time you went to Japan. Yeah. Basically. So.
I was going to say, it must be different already, Garret, because like I said, it was, I'm trying to think, it was 2015. So literally 10 years ago.
Before COVID.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anything before 5 years ago, Garret, is technically before COVID. So.
I mean, that's just, decades to go now,
COVID's it was a whole different, you're right.
Amorphous thing.
It was really just a whole different world back then.
Whole different world.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll get into your trip a little bit later because I'm so excited to talk to you about it, and I know you've got pictures and stuff to show us.
Of course.
But before we do that, Garret, we of course have to get into the clearing the dungeon so we can get to the raid boss as quickly as possible. Yeah. So of course we've got new content over at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. Of course, Sean's Pants episode. The Pants Patreon podcast for patrons podcast is out right now. You can go listen to it. I know that currently Sean is actually biking across the country, Garret. He is not at his home at the moment. He's biking across Canada or across Alberta.
All across Alberta. Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. So, of course, we wish Sean
drink water
while he does that. So, Sean, of course, his episode out right now. Amanda's episode of the Pants Patreon podcast for patrons podcast will be out tomorrow. From the time we're recording this. So make sure to go check that out as well if you're interested in hearing Amanda answer all your questions. And then, again, I always like to tease on this particular show, the next person's question post that's going up on Monday. And it looks like, according to my schedule, that Fulia is up next. So If you got
Nice.
questions for Fulia, you can pop on over to the Patreon on Monday and ask her some questions about Christmas or whatever else you want to ask.
Oh,
Fulia
what's
about.
the thing with Christmas? Like, is she all up on it?
Well, it's like Christmas time in Australia right now.
Oh,
because
that's
it's
true.
it's the middle of the winter.
It's the
right
middle
now.
of the winter. She's bracing the snow and everything in Australia.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Santa's just going to pop out at any moment. That's just how this works. But
Australian Santa.
he's like, "Oi!"
That's it. Here's my elves over here. I can't. I can't.
No,
do an
that was like a
Australian
British
right now.
accent, guy. That's
I
close.
know, right?
It was
I know.
something. Oh, you're just going to throw another shit on me. But anyways,
I'm out of it.
also, I want to say a huge thank you, of course, once again to Boots for gifting 50 YouTube memberships.
That's crazy.
Over on the YouTube. So shout out to Boots for doing that. And other than that, carpoolgaming.com. Get your merch over there, including, of course, the Summer Game Fest merch, which is still on the site because the summer's not over yet. But you'll have to get it before the summer's over, or else it'll retreat to the Disney Vault once again. No one wants that.
The Disney Vault. Are we sharing vaults together?
I mean, we
The
could
carpool
be.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
subscription thing, the Disney Vault.
I mean,
is it right
that's-
next to Walt Disney? That's the question.
I mean, maybe. That's where the Anyway shirts live now, Garrett, is in the Disney Vault,
Yeah. That's
Maybe
true.
there's other things there. We'll find out. But
Anyways,
Garrett, before we get into your things, I want to quickly mention something as well that happened over the course of this week while you were gone.
Yes.
Before I let you take over the show a little bit here.
Yes.
Games Done Quick happened
that's
last
true.
week while you
Yeah.
were away. And I want to mention some cool stuff because they have like a VOD channel that you can watch all the VODs from it if you missed it. Like the marathon last week. Of course, for those that don't know, Games Done Quick is like a company that will help raise money for different charities, putting on these full 7-day marathons about video, like playing speed running video games. And they had this big one called Summer Games Done Quick that they do every summer that just happened last week. They ran a ton of games, but I wanted to quickly highlight some of my RPG picks that people should go check out on their Twitch channel. Or if you caught them live, these were pretty amazing. Garrett,
Yes.
we talked about Avowed back in the day. There was an Avowed run at this Games Done Quick where, of course, Avowed is a newer game, so they're still kind of learning the tech. But it was so interesting to see them plow through that game so quickly. And just some of the weird exploits that, they basically had to play through like the first area like normal, and then they could just warp to the end of the game basically at that point, which was pretty cool. So I loved seeing that. There was a long run of Octopath Traveler that was really cool, where they actually they went through one of the characters' stories, and because the main thing is they were just trying to reach the end of the credits, and I thought that was pretty cool. There was a long run of Final Fantasy IX that I thought was pretty cool as well. Like I love kind of just watching the longer like JRPG runs that run for like 6 hours, which was pretty cool. And then they had like a showcase of the tech that they're working on for a soon to be running Expedition 33 run. Which was pretty cool. Like some of the ways they could, go through the boss fights and enemy fights really quick. The way they could glitch through some of the environments in Expedition 33 to get to later levels. Like I thought some of that stuff was pretty cool.
Yeah. I guess they were breaking a lot of stuff. They were like, let's try to skip this certain dialogue box a quarter second early so I can go past this invisible wall.
Exactly.
Type of deal.
Like weird stuff like that. Or like, hey, if you interact with this, like if you press the interact button while facing this particular direction against this specific wall, it like breaks, like everything just comes apart. Like weird stuff like that is kind of what's on display there. So make sure to go check some of that stuff out over there. There was also a ton of stuff from other non-RPG stuff, like the really awesome Celeste like 4-person race for all the hearts, or a Super Metroid low percent run where they had to get as little as possible and finish the game as quickly as possible.
Oh, interesting.
There's a lot of like really cool stuff like that too. So make sure to go check that out over there. But without further ado, Garrett, now hit me up with your 3 things or 5 things or however many things.
Well, we'll start with the 3 things, of course, as we always do every episode. These are more recent things.
Yeah.
Not outside of the trip. First thing is, I am down with the flu, Ryan. I don't know what happened right before I left China. I had a little scratchy throat. I was like, oh no. And then a couple days later, in the middle of work, I'm like, oh man, I don't feel so well. So, yep, just congested. It's the typical flu thing. You're congested. You got the sore throat going on. So that's why I have a changed voice right now. Fiana's also sick too, so we both got probably the same thing. No. Yeah. But anyways,
I was gonna say, it sounds like you both caught it like right before you left China, of course. Like the worst possible time to catch that. But
yeah, I know, right? I come back to work and I'm like, oh, okay, now I feel gross. That's interesting. Anyways, I'm trying to taste my coffee. I can't taste anything because all the congestion is like all up in there, But anyways, I'm doing okay though. Second thing is Donkey Kong Bonanza. I've been watching the streams. I've been seeing you, Seth. I saw Joe after work last night going through it in those streams. Yep. Man, that looks fun. For folks who don't know, Donkey Kong is actually my favorite Nintendo IP character from my childhood. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so, when I grew up, I went over to my grandmother's place. And so and she had a Super Nintendo. And the games that I had there was, of course, Super Mario World, Legend of Zelda, and Donkey Kong Country. And actually, of those three, I would prefer to play Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3. So I don't know. Like I've really just enjoyed that character a lot. And then I've been following up over the years. I actually haven't played like Tropical Freeze, so I'm actually itching to try that out. I hear it's really good.
It is.
I heard it's hard.
If you like the Donkey Kong Country games, I think you'll really like it. Oh,
yeah. Sounds good. But anyways, I've been seeing all these streams and the FOMO's real. It's like, oh, man, that's the one that could give me the Switch too. Not yet. But it looks super fun. And I'm wondering, Ryan, what you thinking of it so far?
I think it's pretty awesome too. Like, I also had a really busy last couple days where, I did stream the game for 4 hours on Thursday, but then I had to basically work after that. And then I had to work the following morning. And then I had some stuff to do last night. So I really haven't had too much more time with the game, although I'm looking at my banana count and it's currently, I think, at 176.
Okay.
I've collected 176 bananas in the game.
Yeah.
Which are kind of like the moons in like Super Mario Odyssey or something like that. So
right.
I don't even think I'm at the halfway point though in this game. So I really enjoyed this game a lot. It was a game that, I said, man, there's no way I'm going to collect a bunch of stuff in this game. Turns out I collected a bunch of stuff in this game because I'm enjoying it that much, because I'm enjoying my time with it. I love just the act of smashing stuff as Donkey Kong and just getting around the environment. His movement tech is super fun to play with. He's such a an agile character, even more so than I thought. But he also just feels powerful as well. But then there's also there's also a really good kind of power progression for Donkey Kong, because you've got a bunch of different skill trees and stuff like that. It's got RPG elements, Garret. We joked on stream.
Crazy,
it's like a Donkey Kong RPG, but it's not quite an RPG. It's as much of an RPG as Final Fantasy 16 is. So you can take that or leave it depending on how you feel about Final Fantasy 16 being a role-playing game. But yeah, there's skill trees, there's different equipment for both Paullin and Donkey Kong that gives you different passive buffs. The only thing it's missing is an XP system.
I know, right?
And stuff like that. But as you collect bananas, every 5 bananas you collect, you get a skill point that then you can put towards stuff. So that's kind of which is interesting, because it's it gives you motivation for collecting the bananas in a way that I didn't really have motivation for collecting the moons in something like Super Mario or Odyssey.
Right.
Because the only reason to collect them is A, for the sake of collecting them, or B, needed a certain number of moons to get to the next area. Whereas Donkey Kong, you in theory could actually do a speed run of this game, probably, where you collect very few bananas, because it doesn't require you to collect a certain number of bananas to get to each new area. It's the motivation to collect the bananas is mostly to get extra skill points, or again, for the sake of collecting them. So yeah, this game's pretty fun. I actually think it is definitely worth it. I definitely think it is the type of game that's going to sell Switch 2s to a lot of people like yourself, Garrett. And I think it's going to be a big hit this holiday for sure.
For sure.
It's going to be, if anything, I'm a little bit worried that it's going to drown out the space for the other Switch games that we're probably going to see this fall, like something like a Pokemon ZA or Metroid or, even a Kirby Air Rider or something like that. Because this is just such a big game. With Big Monkey.
Yeah, those other games, Metroid and Pokemon, at least those are not Switch 2 exclusives. So they're more they're on Switch 1 as well. But yeah, I mean, when I look at Donkey Kong Bonanza and hearing the feedback and the reviews and everything, it sounds like it's a lot of fun. And so cool.
Yeah, if you like 3D platformers or collectathons as well, like this is your game, dear listener. Like this is the game to play for sure. Also, I'm going to give a shout out to I Can't See, who picked up a game I also picked up this week, but haven't got a chance to play yet. Of course, talking about Shadow Labyrinth. Hi, I pre-ordered the deluxe edition of Shadow Labyrinth after the Nintendo Drive on Switch OLED. It's a pretty good game. That's what I'm super excited to get to. That's like the Pac-Man
Metroidvania.
Yeah.
It still bewilders me that they actually even made this game. So this, and actually they had an episode of this Shadow Labyrinth in, gosh, I forgot what was the Amazon
the Secret
show.
Level.
Secret Level, yeah. And I actually watched that. It was pretty creepy. It was actually an okay episode. But yeah, just seeing this angle of Pac-Man and coming from Bandai Namco internal, I'm just like, this is pretty interesting. Yeah. So
I was just because I like I've always liked Pac-Man. Like I've always liked the character of Pac-Man, and I like when they do weird stuff with Pac-Man because Pac-Man's got a lot of weird games over the years, and this was no different. Like I thought this was actually a pretty cool idea, like thinking outside the box for Pac-Man specifically. So
cool. All right, so third thing I just want to mention, I did get this new thing on my Steam Deck. It's been like kind of going the rounds of the Steam Deck community. It's called lossless scaling. And basically what this program does is that it's like a generated frames like technique like you see from NVIDIA, like the frame generation mechanic. Basically you can make it 2x or 3x. So it generates like frames in between. So you're like you set your game at 30 frames per second, and then you'll actually have a 60 frames per second game. I kind of configured it. I tried it out a little bit last night on the Outer Worlds, and it was not as good as I hoped, but I want to try to test it out even further because people say it's like, I wouldn't say revolutionary, but like it can really help on a lot of different games and smoother gameplay. It's just kind of crazy how Steam Deck keeps getting just like all these random lone developers that just publishes on GitHub and it's like, yeah, just upload it with these Linux files and there you go. You double your frames in this game. So anyways, I just want to shout that out.
They just want to squeeze out all the power of the Steam Deck to like make it as powerful as possible. I think that's
basically.
Cool. Yeah, people. I mean, that's how you can tell that people love the Steam Deck and they just want it to be a better device, you know? So, okay, that's pretty cool. Now, before we get into your side quest, Garrett, to give yourself a break to talk, while you were on vacation, I don't know if you caught this on the episode I did with Seth, but there was of course, bringing this back to Magic the Gathering once again.
Of course.
Did you see that there was a Sonic the Hedgehog Magic the Gathering set that came out?
I heard about this.
Secret Lair? Okay.
I heard about this.
Because, of course, Garrett, I've got it popped up over here, where, of course, you get Sonic and his friends here, including
my goodness,
Shadow and Dr. Robotnik and a bunch of other characters. I ordered this. I sat in line for 4.5 hours to get the Sonic cards.
Y'all, the Magic the Gathering stuff is getting as it's getting as crazy as the Pokemon cards.
It kind of is in a lot of ways, where there's all kinds of crazy IPs. Although there are like Pokemon still hasn't branched out and like done like crossovers with other brands or anything like that.
No, they're just very hard to get just because so many people, like even like non-gamers or non like card gatherers, I feel like anyone that I know like as like my age that's like a coworker or a friend is like, oh yeah, I'm into buying Pokemon cards. I'm like, what? Who are you?
Yeah.
You didn't even think about this like years ago. Now you're just wanting. Like I go to a Target like a few days ago, and I see like two like guys with their like wives or girlfriends or whatever, just like looking at the Pokemon cards. It's like, who are you? Just stop. Like let the kids have the Pokemon cards. Anyways.
But cards are cool, Garrett. You don't understand. Like,
no, I mean, it's not the
you
cards.
You should understand being like the card RPG person.
It's not the cards though. It's the investment. Yes, they want to get that the higher and like it's a whole thing. Anyways, I've been watching this series of YouTube shorts. I forgot what the guy's YouTube channel. He's a huge one. He's like millions of subscribers. All of his shorts is about opening packs and revealing what he got from Pokemon cards. That's his business. No joke. Because he gets more money because of the cards he get from opening these packs.
Especially because he can also kind of write those off as like business expenses too. Because if his YouTube channel is as big as you say it is, like a lot of those big card opening channels, they'll do that. Or like they'll be like people who have stores, collectible card stores. So like they'll buy cards to open for the store, and then they'll just take those cards and then sell them in their store, essentially, like their local business owners. So, like I always think that's like weird and fascinating how there's like this culture of just opening the cards. Whereas like for me, I like playing with the cards. So like that's kind of my motivation. But you're right, adults probably don't need to be collecting cards, but people should be able to collect whatever they want.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go back to shoes. That was the old thing, right?
Sonic Magic the Gathering cards. That's what we're trading stock in now. Okay, Garrett.
I heard the Final Fantasy collection stuff it can get expensive. Like if you got like all the Commander stuff now, it's like hundreds of dollars.
Well, that stuff's expensive. The boxes themselves, like the collector's edition boxes, like the more expensive booster pack boxes, they go for like $1,300 now, and they keep going up because of the fact that they are no longer printing the collector's boxes.
Oh, so it's pretty limited. Okay.
Yeah, but then they're doing they're still doing the kind of the normal pack boxes. But I showed this off on the Nintendo Drive because I have the card box still sitting right here. Because I've got this Terra here who's like leading my deck. This is like a $200 card that I just randomly opened from one of my packs. But I'm actually like playing with this card rather than selling it because I like Terra and I built a deck around her.
Yeah. I just see all these people collecting these Pokemon cards, and then they're like, oh my gosh, it's like a super rare card. They put it in the sleeve very quietly. It's like, okay, it's gonna be shipped off to grading or whatever. When I see grading, Brian, I'm just like, oh no.
That's the stuff like I can't even justify that myself. Like I can't do it.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm done with my rant with cards. Yes.
Excellent. I'm glad I said a rant because I wanted to tell you the good news that I got the Sonic cards, and I don't have them in the mail yet. But they did, even though the website they apparently weren't supposed to ship until like the middle of August.
Right.
They ended up actually sending some people's out early, including mine. So mine already shipped like 2 days ago. So I should actually have them probably next week. Actually,
are you gonna make a Sonic deck? Is that how it's going to work?
So my first priority actually is to make an Amy Rose deck, which is all about equipments. And of course, equipping her with as many hammers as possible, because Amy Rose's thing in the games is like she like attacks with like this giant hammer, essentially. But then I kind of want to make like a Dr. Robotnik deck, actually.
That sounds interesting.
Because he's all about like making people like having like using a mechanic called villainous choice, where like you give like your opponents like one of two options and they're both bad, and it's like, well, pick which one of these you'd like the least.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It's
like
pretty funny.
I love like that kind of idea, especially because like what's interesting is that deck The the cards it'll actually synergize the most with will be the cards from Doctor Who that also interact with the villainous choice mechanic. So it'll be a Dr. Robotnik deck that's full of Doctor Who cards with like Daleks and stuff.
So a doctor deck. That sounds like fitting for me. So
it kind of is. There will definitely be. Well, there probably won't be doctors in it, but there will be the Master, who of course is the arch nemesis of the Doctor.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that is.
Anyways, I'll be fully in once Avatar: Last Airbender. Like,
I mean, it's coming out this fall, man.
Those designs. Just keep me updated. Like, the next set, of course, you're going to show it to me, and I'm going to be taunted by it.
Yeah, we have one set that's coming out before that, which is the Spider-Man set.
Okay.
That's coming out next month. Because Edge of Eternities, the space set, just came out. But then there's an actual Spider-Man set coming out. Actually, it's in October, I think, and then Avatar's after that. So, yeah, it'll be exciting. Also, Yarden chiming in being like, I got my physical copy of Concord graded. I'm a moron. Not really. I mean, that's going to be worth money someday, actually.
I mean, the weird thing about grading is that I was looking at some videos about it, and there's like, oh, what's the difference between a 9 and a 10? And they literally like do these, different infrared imaging of the cards and see where the printing has mistakes.
Yep.
And they like identify those spots. So like I understand there's a science to it. But man, when the value jumps up 10 times, 100 times more, I'm just like, this is crazy. But
yeah,
okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
let's go on to the actual fun things like the trip.
Yeah, we should talk about that. We should, we're about 30 minutes in the show. We should probably actually get to talk about your trip a little bit, Garret.
Yeah. So just kind of an overview. I was out for 3 weeks, plus some days. We first flew. Actually from LA over to Japan. The first destination was Tokyo. We were there for 3 days, and then we went to Kyoto via bullet train.
Nice.
And that was fun. We weren't able to see Mount Fuji. It was still cloudy, but it was still a good trip there. And we were there for 3 days, and then we went to Osaka for 2 days. And then some side trips. We were 1 day in Kamakura, which is kind of a town south of Tokyo. Mm-hmm. And actually, I didn't share this with you, but I did post it on Blue Sky. I went to an island that's kind of it's like adjacent to the coast, so it's like you can walk on the bridge and like go to the island. Basically, it's the home of I think it's the Koju clan. I forgot exactly the Japanese name, but basically that's the inspiration of the Triforce hero symbol, the triangle.
Oh, that is interesting.
I went to the Buddhist temple that had all those signs literally in these lanterns or whatever all around, and of course there's 3 temples on that island because it's the Triforce hero. But that was pretty cool.
It's like
to
the
see.
Zelda Triforce essentially. Yeah, like that's so cool.
Even though
because I was gonna ask like how you got to the island, but it's like, oh, there's like a bridge, you just walk across it. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's close enough. Like you can just they just made a bridge and you just walk across it. It takes like 15 minutes to walk across, so not bad. Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah. And then we had another side trip to Kobe just to try out the beef, and that was a terrible trip. Just because there's nothing to do in Kobe. It's very suburban, and the beef is not even that, like, it's fine. It's good.
You can kind of have Kobe beef in a lot of different places. You don't even need to go to Kobe to do it. That's like being like, man, I have to go to Idaho to taste Idaho potatoes.
I mean, at least we tried it out. Like, it's like, okay, we were in Kobe. Sure. Let's see if, specialty Kobe beef is good in Kobe. And then we tried it. It's like, Texas barbecue can be better. Basically. Yeah, that's the way I felt. So that was my overview trip of Japan. And then we flew from Osaka to Shanghai. And we were there for 2 days. And then we took the bullet train to Nanjing for 3 days. Shanghai, of course, pretty big. Probably one of the most Western influenced Chinese city. I would say, I would argue, because it's been a colony for a while, other than Hong Kong.
Well,
I would
not only
say.
that, but it's just like a huge business hub, and like
Yeah, it's a huge business hub.
And
Yeah.
as a result, like most business hubs, regardless of where you are in the world, are like very like Western influenced, or like very like you're gonna go there and you're gonna see like all the signs and stuff are in English. Like people are gonna know English there.
Well, yeah, yes and no. A lot. So most signs, I would say, in China, in the cities, do have English signs, which is great. But there's still, like, I would say in China, there's a lot of people that just. I mean, it's kind of interesting that people go over there, and there's not a lot of tourists. And so even for me, just traveling through Shanghai, there were some tourists there. But even some people from there, they look at me as like, you're a foreigner. Like it's pretty interesting. Yeah. Like, what are you doing here? Yeah. That's the vibe I got. It was funny because, I was walking along the Bunt River, which is the major river in Shanghai that, you look at the skyscrapers and the, Pearl, Tower. And a little girl came up to me. And if Chinese little girl, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you want to take a picture?" Like in Chinese, like, "Oh yeah," and then she like point to her watch, and like she was just, it's like so excited that she found a foreigner.
That's so weird.
Yeah,
I guess I've just never really experienced that anywhere. So I thought that's kind of crazy that it would be there, because like I would assume that Shanghai is like a place that people would like go to visit.
Yes, there are still a lot of I've seen tourists there, just not as much as Japan. Japan was pretty English friendly. I would say you can it's really walkable in Japan, and you can go around pretty easily with Google Maps or whatever. I find it in China, it's much harder to travel if you're coming from the West.
Now I will say that Garrett, you went to the areas in Japan that are easier to travel in.
Okay.
I can assure you that there are plenty of areas that I went to the last time I was there that are not like that, because I in fact, what I noticed was the closer you got to Tokyo, the easier it was to get around. Because when I, like, for example, when I went on my trip to Japan 10 years ago, we kind of started in Kumamoto, which is like kind of like on the southern point of Japan, by like Okinawa. But it was not. Yeah, Okinawa is its own island, but it's kind of the same area of the world. And there, like, the street signs were in kanji. Like,
just in kanji.
Yeah, there was no English anywhere, and if you tried, it was definitely not. It was definitely way harder to navigate, especially if you didn't know kanji. And as you got farther and farther north, like you get to they're more used to tourists, and there are more touristy kind of areas. And then kind of when it got to Kyoto, it's like, okay, it's very easy to kind of get around. But so
major city wise, Japan, the 30 cities I went to, very kind of easy to go through, I would say. And then also, they accept, of course, cash and then card as well. In China, they skipped the whole bank card kind of technology. They went straight to phone payments. So in China, it's very hard to pay with credit card. Like, they won't accept credit card. What they do is WeChat Pay or Alipay. So you need to connect your bank card somehow through these apps in order to even pay for stuff in China. Yeah. So again, it's pretty hard just to get even in Shanghai, I was like, that you have to be prepared or just go on a tour guide, I would say.
Yeah, it sounds like it's like if you want to go to Shanghai, it's like you're probably like so much more, like it's so much probably tougher to do stuff on your own there. Like you probably have to do a lot more research. Whereas Japan, it's just, I think they're just too like super used to Western tourists at that point.
Yeah, there were so many tourists, like from all around the world too, like from Europe and India and whatever.
It's kind of how I feel like with Toronto, because Toronto is a very touristy city. And I see tourists all the time here in Toronto from different countries and stuff like that. Because like, especially where I work, because I work right downtown by all of the touristy stuff, like the CN Tower and stuff. So I see a lot of people who are from like China or Japan or India or other countries that are like clearly visiting, Canada for the first time because they're like wanting to take photos and stuff behind all the landmarks and stuff. So you can definitely tell like they're from somewhere else. So
Yeah. Anyways, let me go through some of the gaming stuff from Japan and China as well. There is some interesting things. Actually, before we get into it, I did have some interesting facts about Japan. I actually wrote them down on my phone.
Oh, and you pulled a Ryan of fun facts.
Yeah, a lot of fun facts. Okay. So one thing, getting into buses, I don't know if you noticed this too when you were there, Ryan. The bus drivers, they have, every time you get into the bus or leave the bus, they have these, they're just saying thank you very much, or welcome in or whatever. It's like, but they have, it's in the Japanese sayings like arigato gozaimasu. It's like, but like each bus driver has their own different style of it, and I think it's so funny. Actually, it's like I don't know. I found that
gozaimasu like that. Like they'll say it differently. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like like sometimes they do that, and every bus driver has their own personal voice with that. So
I also love to, like, speaking of transit there, like first of all, Japan, I love just how interconnected the transit is, and it's you can get pretty much anywhere on public transit there.
Yeah.
But also it's like pay depending on how far you go as well, which I think is like a pretty good system, because here in Toronto, as an example, or a lot of North American cities are like this too. It's like it's one flat fee to kind of go anywhere, but like if you don't need to go very far, like it's still just as expensive to go all the way across town.
Right.
Whereas I loved in Tokyo where it's like, all right, I only really need to go from like one location to another, and it's not too far away from each other. I pay like a dollar essentially to do that because it's so close. Like I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the public transit in all three cities over there, and China too. It's like really well built and very nice, very walkable. Second thing I had, convenience stores are your friends.
Yes,
Ryan. Oh my goodness, I went to Lawson's, I went to Family Mart. Yep. What's the third one? 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven is the other big one, yeah.
Yeah. So those are the three big ones that we went to when there's something that we need a quick bite or we need a cup of ice because it's so hot over there. Convenience stores are very much your friend in Japan. They're all around, sprinkled all around, and they have fresh like snacks, sandwiches, pastries.
And it's good stuff. Like it's not like convenience stores here, because like convenience stores here have food options there, but like that's not like it's nothing like the convenience stores in Japan.
Yeah, no, the convenience stores in Japan, and even in China, it's like next level stuff. It's like super fresh. So I thought that was pretty cool to go to. I don't know if you noticed this one, Ryan. Tokyo and Kyoto buses operate differently.
Yeah, they do.
So when you go into a Tokyo bus, it's very typical, like every other bus you've gone on. You go through the front door, right? Yeah. Next to the driver, and you put in your pass or whatever. In Kyoto, you enter from the rear. The second you have to. Everyone else is exiting from the front door. The bus driver won't let you in the front door in Kyoto. You have to go through the rear door. I thought that was interesting.
That is very bizarre. Yeah, I don't think when I was in Kyoto we rode the bus. So
okay.
I don't think we know, but because like we stayed at a hotel that was within walking distance of the train station, and then like we took like a cab to get across town. Actually, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we took buses and trains mainly. Actually, we never took a cab.
I was gonna say like the Kyoto was like the one place we took a cab, because actually most of my trip we rented a car and we drove everywhere.
I can't believe you're able to drive that. Yeah, everyone's driving on the wrong side.
I mean, I wasn't driving because I don't have a driver's license. The person I was with was driving, but no. So we actually we rented a car from Kumamoto and drove across like the southern countryside of Japan, visiting a bunch of places along the way, and then we dropped the rental car off in Hiroshima, and then we took the train from there to Kyoto and so on and so forth for the rest of the trip. So a lot of the trip we actually had like a rental car. So if we wanted to go places, we didn't take the bus. We mostly just drove there.
Yeah, nice. Excuse me. Thing number 4, coins are much more precious in Japan. They break down the Japanese yen. I think like the highest yen amount on a coin is 500. And the next is 1,000 yen will be an actual paper dollar. And so you can have coins in your pocket and easily can be equivalent to 7 or 8 US dollars.
Yeah.
Like, so just keep your coins in a safe place while you're in Japan. Thing number 5, gaming is more niche than anime and manga.
Yes.
Yeah, like when I was going to Akibara or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, here's an anime, here's a manga, here's like, 7 stores with 8 different floors of all of this stuff. And it's like gaming. This tiny little corner in the wall might be 2 flights or something like that.
Well, because they're like most Japanese people are either playing mobile games or they
That's true.
are really not collecting physical games as much. Like they're collecting, like they're like you can buy the consoles usually. Like the consoles are usually pretty available at a lot of places, but like selections of physical games are not.
You're right.
Typically,
right. So I found that interesting. We already said public transportation is the best. Tokyo. So thing number 7, Tokyo is hectic, like New York City, but worse. That's what I literally just said.
Yeah.
People there, they're there to work.
Yeah.
In the morning, it's a rush hour thing. My first experience with public transportation was in the Shimbashi train station. For folks who don't know, that is probably the busiest or one of the most complicated Tokyo stations because they have like 2 or 3 different rail lines that are adjacent to each other. You're just not quite sure which way to go. And let me tell you, those workers, they will trample you. They will run you over. So you just got to be careful. Don't get into people's way.
Well, I think the key is if you're going to travel there to Tokyo, what the tip that I'll throw out there that I learned from when I was there was just don't travel on public transit during rush hour. Like plan your trip around that so that maybe you just go get breakfast or something at a place down the street. And then like you start kind of exploring at like 11 in the morning or something.
Yeah.
Because you just avoid that completely because that's not something you really want to deal with, especially if you're having a tough time just getting around the city, especially to your point, Garret, about the rail lines, like figuring out where you have to get, if you have to get on JP or JR, like they're all kind of like scattered or
there's
like
the J lines and then there's separate train lines than the J lines.
And then and it kind of reminds me actually of playing Persona 5 for the first time where you go to the subway station there and you get the signs there and it's just like it is in Japan.
Yeah. No joke.
Where there's a bunch of different train lines written on top of each other, and of course in Persona 5 it's also written in Japanese, so it's like even in the English version, so it's like okay, well I guess I'll figure this out. That's kind of how it was when I was there too. But yeah, like I think like avoiding rush hour is like what you want to do when you're there.
Yeah. I found Tokyo to be the absolute worst. The Kyoto and Osaka was pretty okay.
Yeah, they're not as bad. Like Kyoto, I would only say for Tokyo specifically.
Yeah, Tokyo is just so busy, so huge. It's definitely bigger than New York City. Like in terms of just like amount of buildings and communities or whatever.
Well, I would say like the populations are pretty similar, but then it's just a more condensed area.
Very condensed.
So it's more condensed, but with the same amount of people. So yeah, like getting on the trains, like whether it's rush hour either at the beginning of the workday or at the end of the workday, like you don't want to do that.
What I found really cool about Tokyo, too, is that there is no wasted space. You go into a corner, there's no dark corner of Tokyo. You go into a side street or whatever, there's 7 or 8 different shops.
Yeah.
You go underneath the train station, there's 8 different restaurants. Like, there's just, everything is just full of life, I would say, in Tokyo.
If anything, you want to go down the back alleys because that's where like the mom and pop shops are, and some of them are actually pretty cool. Like, in fact, I don't know if I told you this, but my younger brother, he just opened a bakery in Tokyo.
Oh, okay.
And his shop is in like the first shop on this side street. So like you
Oh,
turn into like this side alley. His shop is like the first one that's there. So it's actually like pretty cool
that is
that's
really
kind of
cool.
with that. So yeah, like when I'm thinking about, as I mentioned, thinking about going again, that's one of the things I want to do is I'm going to go visit his shop, go get
Nice.
some baked goods and hang out. So
Nice. Thing number 8, milk is better in Japan. I like it tastes better. Like no joke. You just it's just some milk or whatever. And it's like that's more delicious than any crap I get in the U.S. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't drink milk, so I have no comments about that. Oh, for sure.
yeah. Thing number 9, bidets are the real deal. I don't know what your feeling about with the bidet, Ryan, but I'm a believer now. After my experience in Japan, that is a much cleaner, better way to handle your going to the bathroom. That I'll stick by that.
I mean, I think they're nice. I think they're nice.
Yeah.
But
Thing number 10, you will not survive without learning how to use chopsticks.
yeah, definitely.
Yes, learn how to use chopsticks before you even go to Asia in general. So
Yeah, like I imagine, like I think in if you go to Tokyo, like you could probably get away with it a little bit more. But
Yeah.
like the second you step outside of Tokyo, it's like it's a crapshoot whether or not you can get any other utensils. And even then, it's like they usually are like give you that look, like you're asking for a
like-
knife and fork.
it's like, what the heck? And then, of course, you need cash in Japan because there's a lot of cash only places
Yeah,
around. So definitely prepare yourself, get some cash. Even though there's some places, a lot of places that accept card, including convenience stores, get some cash because you'll like to go to off the beat restaurants.
yeah. Especially if you go outside of Tokyo specifically, you're gonna want cash for sure when you go. Whereas again, I think in Tokyo, like especially if you're going, like most places you shop at that aren't necessarily restaurants, probably they all usually accept like not cash payments, but
Right.
everything else pretty much is. And hotels are usually, not more than cash too, which is nice. But
And then laundry wise, I found it pretty useful that there's always a laundry machine just like a block away from the hotel, and they're very friendly to English signage and card payments too. So I thought that was pretty nice, convenient. Almost done here. Thing number 11: every machine wants to talk to you.
yes, it does. Especially the vending machines; they all want to tell you a
vending
story.
machines. They want to tell you a story. The elevators want to tell you a story. Even the water dispensing machine from the hotel will have the little, like, it's just a little jingle to it. It's just like, it's like, do 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 do. I'm just like, just dispense the water. Like, you don't need to communicate with me at all.
Look,
So,
they just want you to have a good time while interacting with all the different things there. By the way,
right.
Garret, I don't know if
Yeah.
this is one of your things. What did you think about the vending machines while you were there?
vending machines were really nice. Yeah. So we did a lot of like sodas and waters. I really enjoyed the water, like those type of machines. We didn't get into the snacks or food as much.
Oh, okay. So I have to ask you this then. You didn't mention this. Did you ever drink coffee out of a can?
I think I did from a convenience store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I only ask because you go there and get like Boss coffee or something like that, and it's like literally like hot coffee that's in a can that you can get out of the vending machines.
I was interested to get one of those. I just never had the chance or opportunity to grab a Boss coffee.
See,
But I saw
when
a
I
lot
was
of those.
there, we did because I was still drinking coffee back then, and I did that a lot. Whereas just like as we were going, it's just like, all right, we need to get our caffeine for the morning. Oh, there's a vending machine right there. I'm gonna get myself a rainbow Boss flavor because it comes in a
Boss
rainbow
flavor.
case.
Yeah.
I was just like, this can is so ridiculous. I have to see what this tastes like. It just tastes like coffee. But
Yeah.
it's
It's just coffee. Yeah.
I just thought it was hilarious because I know you're a big coffee person, so I was curious to know what you thought about like convenient or like a vending machine coffee. As a thing.
I did not. Unfortunately, I did not grab one of those. We went out of our way to like. There's a lot of coffee shops all around in these cities, so we just grabbed like an iced coffee from somewhere and just went along our way. So last thing, Ryan.
Last thing.
On my phone here. The bread is heaven. The bread in Japan is so good. So the one highlight thing that we got out of Kobe is so overrated, as Yarden said in the chat. You don't need to go there. But we actually found this like this lone baker in Kobe. He only creates little batches of bread, like in the morning and afternoon, whatever. And so we grabbed a loaf right at like one of the batch times release, and it was the most fluffy, spongy, delicious bread I've ever had in my life. It was just so good. And then all the bakery and pastries or whatever. So I don't know. It's just another level in Japan.
Well, they have like a whole culture there of like bakery specific stuff. Like they love baked goods there in particular. Like that's something I think that they really, 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 really enjoy. So yeah, like it seems like it makes perfect sense that they would be like the masters of that in a lot of ways. So, which is again one of the reasons why my brother wanted to open like a bakery shop there, because he was really inspired by like Japanese pastries and stuff like that when he was there visiting.
Yeah. So let's actually get into the gaming stuff that I found throughout my travels. I'm gonna share screen and we can get through it. Sure. Just kind of breeze through this. I don't want to take 3 hours of our time here.
I know it's one of those things where we'll talk less about what we've been playing, because this is the Garrett's Things episode, folks. This is a special episode of the show.
Yeah, let me go. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Adding it to the stage. All right, here we go.
So I went to, this was at the Shibuya Crossing, one of the busiest crossing streets ever in the world.
It's one that if you watch a lot of anime, you see featured in a lot of anime. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Persona 5, 100%. I actually remember walking around the train stations around that crossing. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like Persona. Anyways, this was right above the Starbucks there. They have a Pokemon store, like card shop. And people can go there, pay to just go at the tables and play Pokemon cards. They had literally every Pokemon in a card form, just displayed on the wall. Every Pokemon that's ever existed, they had a card and displayed it. I thought that was
that's neat. So cool. And again, like there's for folks that don't know, and you might bring this up a little bit later, but there's like all these themed cafes around a bunch of different properties, like anime, video games, and stuff. There's like a Dark Souls cafe, for God's sake. Like, and they have like Dark Souls themed food and beverages and stuff. Like, there's lots of stuff like that there. And this just sounds like one of them where it's like the Pokemon variation of that. But then you also get to play the cards while you're there too.
Yeah. They're into like, let's hang out, let's have like some coffee or food or whatever, and let's just geek out with like our favorite franchise or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just some of the bigger card displays there. They had a lot of those.
Oh, the Kirby claw machine.
Yeah. So this was in Akihabara. There was a Kirby claw machine. This was in one of the major gachapon stores. I actually did get a little gachapon keychain. Let's see here. Oh well, it's like really tiny, but basically I got a PSP keychain.
Oh, that's cool.
There was a Sony gachapon. I could have gotten they had a PlayStation Portal, inside. Like it was a very recent gachapon machine. Because
I actually was more surprised by the PSP one though. I think than the Portal, because the PSP is not something I would imagine most people remember there. But
yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. Oh yeah, they had this is the most interesting gachapon I've ever seen in my life. I think that's just a router box or switch box. Gachapon.
Amazing. It's like collect all the pieces so you can build your own server.
Yeah, and it's literally a gachapon thing. It's pretty funny. Found some Fire Emblem stuff. Used games. They were relatively cheap too. Yeah. Just looking at the box here, you saw that's like 3,500 yen.
That also looks like the import, like the North American version that's imported.
Well, you see the Japanese lettering here too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I mean the echo's on the far left.
There's some lettering right there.
Yeah, it's got. I couldn't see it, I guess, from how small the image was, but
it's funny how these games are. I mean, they're not expensive at all. No. They're just sitting. They're in I think one of the just game shops. I think this was actually the book off And look down here. Look, Pokemon Pearl, 3,000 Japanese yen.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't know, like $10 or something like that.
It is, yeah. And the best part is, Garrett, is that a lot of RPGs are like that there because of the fact that it's like they produce RPGs in Japan like we produce Madden or Call of Duty, and so they overproduce them in a way, so they're always cheap. Like that's why like the Japanese version of Chrono Trigger is so cheap. You can get it for like $10 on eBay because they overproduce the heck out of it. Whereas the reason it's expensive in North America for the North American version is because it had a lower print run, and they didn't overproduce them as much. So that's why you just see that big difference. And again, this makes a lot of sense here with Pokemon games too, because I remember seeing this before where it's like, and again, it's like they don't even really appeal to tourists because they're in Japanese only. They don't have the English translation on them, or else people would snap them up and they would actually be more expensive, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right too. Just going through here, just more gaming related stuff that I found in Akihabara, Game Boy Color. I saw Mother 3 right there.
Yeah, just hanging out.
209,000. That's actually pretty expensive.
That is actually pretty expensive, but you can tell though that like people like Mother 3 is one of those games that were of course people like are buying that up and collecting it, right? Like and it probably just had a lower print run than something like Pokemon does.
You see a Game Boy Micro and they're just randomly on display. And then you got Game Boy Advance, you got a PlayStation Vita TV down there. They just have all sorts of stuff in these stores. I actually found a Square Enix just floor. And so it was a very well-organized merch store that had Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, merch-related stuff. I thought that was pretty interesting. I found this pretty little thing.
Oh, yes. That one is like hella expensive here.
Let's see how much that is. 63,000. That's equivalent to, let's say, 500, 400 USD, somewhere around there. Yeah.
That's still cheaper than how much it is here.
Wait. Is it around there? I would have to do the conversion.
On eBay, it's actually probably even more. It's probably like, you're probably looking at like close to $1,000.
Yeah. Also, I did not get a 3DX.
That's what I was about to ask you about.
I
remember you saying you were going to look for one while you were there.
Yeah, I did find one for like 220 equivalent USD for a new 3DS XL. But it's other than that, it was pretty similar listing prices.
Yeah, it just goes to show they're expensive no matter where you go.
Right? Yeah, no, I think people just caught on in Japan too. Everywhere you go is like more expensive for the 3DS.
I mean, COVID changed a lot, including like console prices, like especially 3DS stuff. And 3DS stuff is only going to get more expensive, I think. Forward.
So more Nintendo handhelds here. I was just showing the prices. This is the 3DS LL, 33,000 Japanese yen there, and some smaller stuff there. The DS Lites were actually pretty cheap. Compared to the 3DSs.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people just got rid of their 3DS, their normal DSs for 3DSs. So there's probably just lots of people that are like, the DS is, I think, just less desirable now than the 3DS.
Yeah.
So, for that reason.
I think this was in Super Potato, actually. There's just so many of these cheap, like older consoles. You see the Famicom, Super Famicom. They're going for super cheap because there's just so many. As you said, in supply over there. So.
And they're just not as desirable now because like we're kind of shifting the generation to people who are collecting games, are collecting more of like the PS2 and GameCube and Xbox generation, or even like 3DS stuff, or like that's the stuff that's like the hot stuff right now. The stuff that like are is kind of at its peak of collectability, and it's kind of actually starting to shift, interestingly, Garrett, to like Xbox 360 and PS3 stuff.
So interesting, because
again, like the people that are like the collectors with the most disposable income are people who grew up with either the GameCube generation consoles or the Xbox 360 generation of consoles.
Right. Super Famicom Junior. Look at that little thing. So cute.
It's adorable. Also, I love just how all the yellow.
Yeah, look how
Famicom
yellow that thing is. Yeah.
That's what happens though, because of the there are certain. Basically, you can tell when those Super Famicoms were manufactured based on the color of the console, because they use like the material that it's made out of would yellow over time if it was from like before kind of like the later run of Super Nintendos, where they changed out the material to get rid of the yellowing problem.
Interesting.
And that's actually in North America in particular. That's when you get like the one chip version of the Super Nintendo, which had like a much more powerful graphics chip in it. So it actually displays games a lot better than the original version of it. That
interesting.
Is this yellow version. So that's why that also plays into these ones being cheaper, because those one chip consoles, the ones that haven't yellowed over time, are actually pretty expensive now.
Got it. You get a little Virtual Boy there in the distance.
Of course. Garrett, you could have come back with a Virtual Boy.
I could have.
Brought back Mario's Tennis or other things.
Yeah, that was that. Last
things.
Last line here. Of course, you got the N64s and GameCubes.
Yep.
All lined up, ready to go, for everyone.
The
to
wall
purchase.
of N64s in particular.
Yeah,
so many.
Oh, I thought you enjoyed this. You know this little handheld.
Yeah, the Dreamcube. Well, those are the VMUs for the Dreamcast. Those are basically your memory cards for the Dreamcast.
Oh, those were your memory cards.
Yes, those are the memory cards, and it slots into the top of the Dreamcast controller, Garrett. And there's a little display that it pops up on the Dreamcast controller. But also, the reason why they have controls on them was that for certain games, they would allow you to play like mini games on the VMUs portably. So because they had batteries in them. So you could actually carry it to school with you and play like for example, in Sonic Adventure, you had the Chow Garden, which allowed you to kind of like had this garden of little creatures that you collected throughout Sonic Adventure. And you could interact with the Chow Garden on the VMU out of the Dreamcast.
That is, I never noticed that. I never knew that. So very interesting. I thought you would enjoy that little tidbit. Of course, the famous fox. I think you see this a lot in the Super
one
Potato.
Everyone takes pictures of.
Yeah, exactly. So sorry, guy, randomly in the distance. Okay, now done with Akibara. Went to the Nintendo Kyoto store.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I did not go to the Tokyo or the Osaka one, but I did go to the Kyoto one. It's just one floor in one of the shopping malls or whatever. They were playing Switch 2 in there. They were playing Mario Kart. But I really enjoyed the layout, the merch over there. I actually find it more enjoyable than the San Francisco one, just because they had just more stuff I would like to get. And actually, Fiona did get some of her Animal Crossing plushies from there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they had one of the more famous like villagers. I forgot exactly. One of them was Stitches. I know that for sure. And the other one was, I forgot the Animal Crossing name, but always frowns and like has, I think it's like a squirrel or whatever.
I don't know any of the Animal Crossing characters, so I'm relying on you, Garrett.
Yeah. Anyways, she was very excited about that. And I also got these, Ryan. You know what these are?
Oh, the Hanafuda card.
Yes, you're right. The Hanafuda playing cards. I got the Mario edition.
Because that's how that was what Nintendo started with. Like they were like a toy company that made they weren't a toy company. They were like a playing card company. They
were a playing card company. They were selling playing cards, and Hanafuda was the big one for them. They are tiny, Ryan.
Yes,
they are tiny little cards. I really enjoyed the design of these. They had the Japanese influenced art, but has Nintendo characters. They have a free instruction manual of how to play them as well.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, especially tourists, pick them up when they go there.
So I thought that was super neat. Whoops. I have some random stuff here. You always see just like different stuff, like just all around Japan, and I found this one kind of hilarious of Chun-Li just like singing for the advertising karaoke and free one drink here, and it's a crossover.
Sponsored by Street Fighter 6.
Yes, sponsored by Street Fighter 6, this karaoke celebration or whatever. So
Very nice.
So this was in Osaka.
Yeah.
The donkey store. For folks who don't know, the donkey store is the tourist store, basically. You go there and you buy a bunch of Japanese related goods and products. There's some, and this is the biggest donkey store in Japan. There's like 7 different floors of stuff.
That's so much stuff.
Yeah. So you get everything from like matcha powder to like beauty salon cosmetic stuff to like liquor, like high quality liquor. They sell video games there too, and they have this kind of merry-go-round kind of Ferris wheel thing. That's like kind of a, I don't know,
like a touristy thing. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not have a merry-go-round? It's a Ferris wheel at the top of the store.
And we went on it. It was actually pretty high. You like go up at the top. It's like you can see everything.
Well, yeah, I would imagine, especially because Osaka is not like a place with like super high skyscrapers, anyways. So like, you probably can see above most of the buildings there.
Yeah. So Donkey is the little penguin right there.
Of course, the penguin's name is Donkey. I mean, why not?
Yeah. DONKI.
Gotcha.
And so if you buy enough stuff in there, you get tax-free stuff in Japan. So we got a bunch of magnets, Kit Kat bars, matcha powder. We're definitely going to make some matcha lattes. In Kyoto, matcha is pretty big because it's close to where the town where matcha is popularized and stuff like that. So,
which is crazy because there's like I don't know if you knew this, Garrett. There's like a worldwide shortage of matcha happening right now. We're like,
oh really?
Because of the fact that matcha is such a trendy product now that there's like a big shortage of matcha. So I'm actually kind of surprised to hear that there's so much at this store because like at the place I work at, we did like a story about it and everything.
Oh wow. I trip over matcha in Kyoto. I like walk right next to like the ice cream places were the savior of our journey because it was so hot in Kyoto. And so we would go like to a temple and then off to the side, oh, here's a matcha ice cream for like $1. It's like, of course I'm going to cool myself off with some matcha ice cream.
Yeah.
All right. I think so basically done with Japan. So let me just a few pictures from China. Of course, this is Shanghai. Yeah. This was on the Bunt River. You got the Eastern Pearl there. I think that's one of the most like the nice looking views at night. One of the best looking cities, for sure, because they got a lot of different cool skyscrapers here. So there's Shanghai. I found this little thing. Oh yeah, it was just like a One Piece advertisement in the middle of Shanghai.
From like one of the movies, I guess.
Yeah, I guess one of the movies. I actually did in Shanghai. I actually found a Atlas store.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know they had a store in Shanghai.
Yeah, they have a Sega store, and then part of that is an Atlas store, and so they had Persona and all sorts of stuff in there.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't take any pictures of that. I went to the Starbucks Reserve in Shanghai. It's the biggest one in Asia. And so I was just kind of like taking pictures of the menu. They have very fancy drinks here. So
yeah, of course we have the lore that Garrett loves fancy coffee. This is the thing.
Yes, it's not lore. Well, it is lore. I do love a good coffee there. And then last thing, I actually posted this on the Discord. Yeah. I went to a KFC in China. And they had this Asus Republic of Gamers
That's
logo.
what I thought it was. I was like, I thought that looks like the ROG symbol.
That is the ROG symbol implanted on the bun of a hamburger that they're selling at a KFC.
Of course it is. The ROG Ally Burger, only available at KFC.
Yeah, look, Republic of Gamers. I'm not even joking. Yeah. So
I mean, they love KFC over there, but it's crazy. Because I don't think I ever went to like a KFC in Japan, which I imagine probably has like weird options like this like the one in China that you're showing here. But
Yeah,
so
I
cool.
actually really enjoyed the fast food a lot in China. McDonald's and KFC are really good.
I was just saying because when I went to
yeah.
McDonald's in Japan, because I went there twice, and I was like,
Yeah.
both times I was like, man, this is actually really good. Like I got like
Yeah.
the first time I went there, I got like a tonkatsu burger. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, this is so good.
Yeah. So that's all the pictures I have. I think the last thing I could stop sharing
Ba-bam.
right now. Yeah.
All right, I did it.
There we go. Last thing I want to mention, the last city I went to before I went back to my wife's hometown was Nanjing. I don't think a lot of people know about Nanjing as much. It's a very one of the rich history of China is in Nanjing. It's been the capital over many dynasties, and so there's so many different like historical things with like the Chinese culture. Many emperors have been the capital over there, but it has a curse. It has been ran over and ransacked many times throughout Chinese history. So I really do recommend people who want to understand and learn more about just China in general. Nanjing is one of the most rich in history. The kind of the more recent historical facts about Nanjing is actually the invasion of Japan in China in World War II, specifically in the late 30s, and what is known as the Nanjing Massacre in China is one of the darkest histories in China, probably similar to the Holocaust, like it very resembled like that. So for folks who don't know, just look it up on Wikipedia or whatever. Read the facts about it. It's pretty rough stuff. But I did go to the memorial over there. Typically, you have to have reservations to get into that memorial, and it's so hard to get tickets as a Chinese citizen, apparently. It's like they'll open up the tickets, and it's like so hard to get in.
Wait, so how the hell did you get in then?
So basically, well, we decided to go over there just because there's another museum we were going to attend. But we just tried our luck, and we went to like that other line to go into the memorial, and they noticed I was a foreigner, and they're like, do you have a passport? And I was like, of course I have my passport with me. And so they're like, okay, yeah, so you don't need a reservation, you can just walk in.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah, they're allowing like other people, foreigners, like it's like, hey, you're here to go through it, then yeah, you could just come in and go through the tour guide. A very well presented museum, one of the best museums I've seen to display history. They have a bunch of great English translation and Japanese translation too, along with Chinese. And then they actually were trying to push us forward because we were almost done with our time slot, but I just kept reading and reading, and it was like pretty good stuff. So
You were so enraptured by it, they're like had to like kick you out essentially.
yeah, they had to kick me out basically.
But that's super interesting to know that because like I guess the logic there is like, well, if you're a foreigner from out of the country and you're just visiting, like there's no way you could enter the lottery to then win tickets to then go visit the thing. So it's like if you're only there for a week or whatever, so it's like of course they will probably let some of those people in. So they probably have like allotted like spots every day for like foreigners that just show up.
Yeah. And again, this kind of event that happened is the reason why there's a lot of always apprehension or tension of Chinese towards Japanese people. It's specifically these events that Japan was pretty rough on China. Not good stuff. But other than that, it's a really rich history as well because of it was actually Nanjing used to be the capital of the Chinese nationalist government. So that's the other party that actually retreated to Taiwan. And that's where they are right now. But the father of modern China, his monument's there. Think of that as like the Abe Lincoln Memorial in the U.S., like a very, important historical figure and they have his monument up on the mountain over there. And you get a nice view of the city itself. But yeah, I think that was a pretty cool city to tour through. And then I went back to Tianjin, which is my wife's hometown, and we ate a bunch of Chinese food, and I got fat.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably really good Chinese food, mind you. But
Yeah.
yeah, dude, it sounds like you had an amazing, 3 weeks, like a great trip. Like, would you want to go again to do a lot of this stuff?
Yeah, 100%. We're definitely gonna travel more different parts of China later on. Japan, I might, just hold off a little bit and just see, like, what other places other than the big three cities I would like to go to.
Yeah.
Because there's so much, of course, there's so much other places, north and south, that I can venture off to, but probably not like in the next 5 years or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not the type of trip you make every year or every couple of years or whatever, but like every 10 years or whatever, you make a trip out there, right? Like I think that's like perfect amount of timing. But dude, it sounds like you had a blast going for your first time. So I'm so happy to hear you had an amazing vacation.
Yes, thank you.
And soon you'll get adjusted to the time change again. It'll be great. But
and I'll get better.
Yes, exactly. So to round things out, we're just going to skip over what we've been playing, Garret. I know we just, for the sake of time, we'll just hop into the questions and then get out of here. So, of course, we got a couple questions from the NPCs, the non-podcast characters. Huge thank you again for everyone submitting questions this week. First one comes to us from Ron, a.k.a. Savoy Prime, who says, "Hello, Cavers. Ryan, it is currently 81 degrees Fahrenheit as I type this with a 40% chance of rain today." Garret, welcome back. Also, of course, I love the weather report. First of all, Ron, thank you for the weather report. I appreciate that. Looking forward to hearing those Expedition 33 thoughts. Oops, we skipped over those, but whatever. Here's my questions, though, y'all. First, since Grand Blue Fantasy Relink sold pretty well, what are your thoughts on it getting a sequel? And we'll get to the second question in a second. I think, Ron, I think there's a chance they'll do another one. But I just remember like the development of Grand Blue Fantasy Relink being
years
really turbulent.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they necessarily want to go through that again, especially because like it sold well, but maybe not as well as they probably wanted it to. So I think it's 50-50 as to whether or not it gets a sequel. I mean, that franchise continues to be huge on mobile. And maybe that's, and also in the fighting game scene, because the Grand Blue Fantasy Versus games are actually pretty popular. But I'm curious to know where they go with Relink, but I just don't think it had like I think it sold well on the outset, but like everyone's kind of, I think, forgotten that game even exists at this point.
Yeah. It seemed like it sold, as he says, sold pretty well. But I feel like, just looking at all the different forms that they could sell this franchise to, you're right, like the mobile games is probably the more appropriate audience, I would say. If anything, they would just do a free-to-play mobile with a Steam attack, like, the Hoyoverse type of formats. Because I just think, single-player RPGs coming from a mobile or anime or manga or whatever, it's just not that, I don't know, financially, like, profitable or reliable. Like, you can really sunk in a lot of development costs and not get a lot out. So I would say it's a high risk to go into the single player genre and just do the free to play stuff and just go from there.
Yeah, that's catching on a lot now with Japanese or other Asian developers is just doing the free to play thing, doing the Hoyoverse thing. Like I think that's like a popular model that works. It's tried and true, and I think a lot of developers are moving towards that. So that's what I expect is it to be more like that if they do another one of these, because it was already going with like that service base. You got to play it, with like multiplayer kind of style, anyways. So I think it just makes more sense for them to lean into that. Anyways, but second question from Ron is what video game IP that doesn't have an RPG in its franchise history, but you feel would be perfectly for the genre? Hopefully this hasn't been asked before. Have a great episode, y'all. And remember, RPGs are the best genre, or the best genre, since he capitalized it. I know he has a specific question for you, Garret, but we'll get to that in a second. But I think first of all, we've done an entire episode about this.
Yeah, we've done an entire episode based on this. For sure.
we this wasn't a question from the community, but it was a question we decided to ask ourselves. But the one I'll still hammer home, I mean, Resident Evil I'm actually very surprised there's not a Resident Evil role-playing game of some kind at this point, because I think it's a franchise that totally lends itself to it. It really, especially, you could really think outside the box and come up with some really interesting ideas for a Resident Evil role-playing game. And I think that's something that would be interesting. And licensed IPs, because I did a licensed episode last week, Garret. Is something like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I think, would be like the perfect licensed IP to have like a role-playing game, because of the fact you've already got 4 characters that kind of play differently. You could have it like turn-based, where they have like different moves and stuff like that, for each of the turtles. Like, it just writes itself at this point. But what do you think, Garret?
I mean, I think the one that really clings to me, and even I think I explained this in that episode, is actually Star Fox. Star Fox as an on-rail shooter, great. I love it. But can you imagine just that universe just fleshed out as like a Mass Effect type or Starfield type of format, and just be really detailed with like the lore of Star Fox, building your own ship, building your own crew, advancing your own levels and skills, and have side quests or whatever. That would totally get me in with a Switch 2. No joke. Like, if they had Star Fox the RPG, I'll be like, okay, I'm done. That's it. That's what I cling to most is the Star Fox IP in a Mass Effect or Starfield setting.
Yeah, nothing like Star Fox Adventures, which bordered on being an RPG, but it's not really an RPG. But that'd be interesting. But Garret, final question from Ron.
Yes,
you specifically. What RPG do you feel would benefit from a remake?
The RPGs I think of that would benefit a lot from a remake is actually more PS1 style RPGs. So I imagine those, because they had the controls were kind of just birthing, like the 3D, visual style. It just started, and then PS1 N64 era. So you can make that, quality of life changes really well there. So I imagine, like Dark Cloud or Dragon Quest VII. I think of, those type of RPGs would really lend itself to, update the visuals, update the controls, and the quality of life changes. I think those would be really fun and shorter. Dragon Quest VII is not that short, but shorter on average RPGs than what we see today. I know Dragon Quest. There's been a rumor, Ryan. I don't know if you saw this. Dragon Quest VII.
I did see this
in the works. Yeah, it could be 2026.
Yeah, like maybe that's what we see after 1 and 2.
Yes, it'll be after 1 and 2. So pretty interesting there. Yeah,
nice. And then final question of the show comes to us from Kiku, who says, what are your top 3 Game Boy Advance role-playing games? So to give you some time to think about this one, Garret, I have a few. I'm going to do my top 3 here. Now, mind you, this first one's a cheating answer. It's 2 of them. But they basically are one game that you play that were sold as 2 different games, the Golden Sun games, because of course.
Okay,
1 and 2 is because 2 is basically just picks off where 1 leaves off, and the main difference is you're playing as a different set of characters, but it just continues the story, and it's really like those 2 games are essentially one game that's split into 2 parts essentially. So I would say that. I would say Shining Force. The remake of the original Shining Force game that came out on Game Boy Advance is incredible. It's really good. It's made by Atlas instead of by Sega, which is interesting considering the fact that Atlas is now owned by Sega. But I thought that game was really good because that was like the first and really only Shining Force game we got that was a traditional game that was not done by Camelot, essentially. That was made by another studio. But it was a really well done remake for the Game Boy Advance, and I thought they did a great job with that. And then the other one is going to be a weird pick because this one you would assume by the title it's not necessarily a role playing game, but it is definitely a role playing game. I assure you, Mario Golf Advance Tour.
I know that's more of an RPG.
It is. Some people refer to it as the Chrono Trigger of role-playing game, of sports games, essentially, where you just, play golf, You level up your character. You get new stats and new skills and new gear. It is very much a role playing game for the Game Boy Advance, and it's really good. So there you go. Those are my 3 honorable mention, of course, to Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, the Game Boy Advance port.
Yeah. So I did not play a lot of RPGs in the GPA era, but of course. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, so I have to put in a couple of Pokemon games in there. My favorite Pokemon game of all time is a GBA Pokemon game, and that is Pokemon Emerald. It was that age for me where I was really into Pokemon, and that third region, it's very nostalgic to me. I would just play that all the time. Go through multiple playthroughs. I thought overall great story, great pacing. Too much water, maybe. I don't know. Of course. And it was like kind of the first time you have little bases too, like hidden bases all around where you can like build your furniture and stuff like that. And then there's certain days and times where there's certain people that would sell you these furniture. I thought that was a cool added thing in the Pokemon universe. I love the legendary Pokemon in that as well. Pokemon Emerald. And then of course number 2, I would say if you're not going to play the original Pokemon, this one is a very good remake of it. Fire Red and Leaf Green, very good Pokemon games. That it was in the style of that GBA era, but it's the first region, and then they added so much more afterwards. So you beat the game, and then they had some extra DLC, as you will, or expansion of the Orange Islands in those. So I really enjoyed playing those as well. So those are my top 2. Of course, the only other really RPG that I really got into, if you want to argue this is an RPG, Advance Wars.
I mean, that counts.
Yeah, a tactical game. That could be, you could say, a tactical RPG in a way.
I mean, we did a whole episode about Advance Wars on the show, so I mean,
that's true.
I would count it enough for this to answer this question.
Yeah. So those are my top 3. RPGs are probably the only ones that I really got into. I wish I did play more of the GBA based RPGs. I think I would like to catch up with my little Chinese knockoff Game Boy.
Yeah, like I think that I'm in the same boat though, even because like at the time the Game Boy Advance was out, I wasn't playing a lot of RPGs on it. Like I was playing a lot of them on like the main consoles instead of the Game Boy Advance. But the only other ones I really played were like the Fire Emblem games. I played those. Yeah. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. I played that.
Mario and Luigi, yes. Yeah,
but I didn't really get into like the Final Fantasy remakes that were on there, or a lot of the other Game Boy Advance role playing games, because there was a bunch of stuff outside of that. But anyways, I think that's gonna do it for today's episode of the RPG Cave. But before we go, Garrett, of course, we got to say thank you to all of our patrons over at patreon.com/Carpool Gaming, starting with our ultimate producers, Brendan Myers, a.k.a. The Winter Gamer, Jonathan Brown, the man behind the music on the Xbox Drive. You can find all of his music over at his Linktree, linktr.ee/pme.gib, and Technical Michael, who says, whether you're Kevesi or Agnian, you're a Xenobabe at heart. Links to all of our ultimate producers can always be found in the description of our podcasts. Our platinum producers, Pat EEP, Smoke and Joe, The Captain, and Tim Paullin. And our gold members, Adam K, Anna, Awesome Dave 1337, Penny, Brad Moore, Brian Reese, Cecily Carrozza, Dan and Luma, Dannohh, Emily O'Kelly, John 32, Laura, Lagerwoods 330, Mr. Giggles, OldMrFrump, and Stephen Keller. Huge thanks once again to all of our patrons over at patreon.com/Carpool Gaming. If you want to hop in the car with us, head over there, choose the tier that's right for you. And now, Garrett, plugs go.
You can follow me on Blue Sky at Blind Explosion. I'm also on Discord. I read every single message in the RPG Cave, sometimes in the PC Gaming, sometimes in an Xbox Drive, something like that. And then you guys also follow me on Backlogged. I need to update it probably today or tomorrow. I need to write my Blueprints review still. It's like I still keep saying that every episode. My goodness.
Yeah, but you literally left the country for 3 weeks. Like, you have an excuse.
That's true. And then I just recently finished Expedition 33, as Savoy Prime mentioned. We did talk about that behind the scenes. A lot of spoiler stuff there. But I want to conserve and keep my thoughts on it. I want Ryan to play this game, and then we could talk about it more in depth, because there's just a lot of... There's the things I loved about it, and there's things I just didn't care for in this game compared to a lot of other people who think this is the best game of all time. So anyways, I'll be kind of marinating and putting my thoughts on backlog.
Well, it's gonna be a while, because I just purchased the game.
Purchased
recently, because it won. It won my tournament bracket of the first game to buy in 2025. But I'm obviously all in on Donkey Kong until I finish that. So it's up there, but it's also like, we got to start playing Cyberpunk soon.
Yeah, we do.
Or at least I want to keep pace with you. So like, I don't want to put that on the back burner behind Expedition 33. So maybe Expedition 33 waits until after that stuff. But then also like, I've got so much other stuff I want to play too. Like, the 100 line I want to play. I really want to dive into, Shadow Labyrinth. And then of course, Ninja Gaiden, the 2D one, comes out at the end of the month. So there's
too many games. Too many games. I may just wait till Sean gets back if we do a spoiler cast, and we'll go all out.
Yeah. Right. That'll happen eventually. We just don't know when that'll be. But anyways, I think that's going to do it. So for Garret Bland, I'm Ryan Triford. This has been the 190th level of the RPG Cave. Only 10 more levels, Garret, until episode 200. And we're out of here. Good night, everybody.
Bye.